So today tuko back at YouTube, tuko TikTok, tuko YouTube. So anybody who want to see the chat is on YouTube. Let me confirm if the chat is very clear. Let's see the chat on YouTube. Wow, well and nice. The chat is on YouTube. Very nice. Now let's start. Let's have a start. Let's have a start. Yeah. Oh, Ezekiel.
Yes,
Popo, how are you?
I'm good.
So you are ready for the week?
Mazee, nataka kuanza hii wiki, lazima nitengeneze ka kitu.
Okay. Purity, how are you?
I'm fine.
Abdi, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. And you?
Okay, I'm good. So kindly mute your mic. So let's mute our mic so that we can do some pairs here. So today, let's start with the pair of the group. That is EURUSD. At least look what has been happening on EURUSD. So how many managed to trade NFP? How many managed to trade NFP? Nobody. Okay, yeah. Okay. I got only $10 on NFP. Not good. Okay, no problem. So on TikTok, keep on liking the live so that you can be very, very active. But if you want to see the chart, you can remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are live on YouTube, but also you can view it here. Okay, now this is EURUSD. We are going to start from. Are we going to do a top-down analysis from at least 3 months or 6 months? Deno mnaonaje? We start from the higher time frame?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So first of all, what we can say that this is EURUSD on a monthly time frame. We are bullish. That's what I can see. We are bullish. And the reason why we are bullish is this. If you look at these pairs here, this pair, we have a break of structure. And we all know what a break of structure it communicates to us, right? Then after that break of structure, we came for what? We came for the demand, right? Then after that break of structure, we had another break of structure, right? Then this market pulled down, coming for this demand here, where we are currently reacting from. So now what we need to do, we need to look at this push, right? Let me mark it for you guys on the class. Where is it? Where's that tool? We have that brush. Then let me pick this. I need this arrow path. Okay, yeah. So we need to analyze this pullback. Do you see? We're having a breakout structure, then we're having what? A pullback towards what? This demand over here on a monthly time frame, right? Now, at least this is what you need to do. You need to look at what has been happening throughout what? This pullback, right? So on the pullback, after we had this breakout structure, we can see that we had another pullback, another breakout structure towards what? Towards that demand, right? And you can see clearly the supply zone was mitigated, right? And what is this inside here? Somebody from the class to answer. What is this?
Liquidity.
Yeah, exactly. But we can call it an inducement. After every breakout structure, the first pullback is what? An inducement, right? So after we mitigated that supply zone, this is what we had. We had another breakout structure to the downside, right? We had another breakout structure to the downside. Then look at this area. After this breakout structure, we had this pullback, the first pullback down here. That's not a breakout structure, it's an inducement. That's liquidity, right? Inducement is it's like a liquidity, right? Then after this inducement was taken out, where did the market react from? Now I want you to look at this. Those things I told you about. If we turn on the line chart, what do we see? What do we see? If we turn on the line chart, we have this, number one, we have this low over here. Number two, we have this low. You can see, and you can see, right? So what do we have all along there? What do we have here? Yes, guys,
Resistance.
I'm asking you
Resistance.
a resistance, okay? Now, if we turn on the line chart, turn off the line chart, we can see when we broke this this support, market retested it at around this area, right? Then again, the market retested at the resistance again. So this is a break and a retest. So all along this was what? Was the support. All along this was the support, but eventually it was broken, then the support turning to resistance, right? But let's follow the market structure, how it is going. Now, leaving alone all these stories of support and resistance, after this inducement was taken out, we had another breakout structure. So this was the last breakout structure, right, to the downside before the market mitigating what? This demand zone, right? There. Okay. Now, in order for us to confirm that we are really, really bullish on monthly time frame, right? What do we need to see? This is what we need to see. At least we need to see market breaking what? This high. Remember, we're having what? This breakout structure. So that means this is our protected high. This is our protected high, right? So in order for us to confirm that we are really, really bullish, we need to see this market breaking above these highs on a monthly time frame. So what do we need to see? At least we need to see something like this. Then we continue being bullish, right? don't know if that is okay. Somebody to comment on TikTok if that chat is very clear to you. Okay. So this is what we need to see on a monthly time frame if we are really what bullish. But for now, we have what this protected high. This is like our swing high, the strong high on monthly, right? Because of this break of structure. So before this area to be broken, where are we expecting to see these prices? We can have this as the supply zone, whereby we are waiting for to see what the reaction is going to happen here, right? Now have a look at this area. We having this supply, we having our protected high, and then we have what this resistance. So it will take time. It will take time for this market to do what? To break above this area. Because we have a supply, we have this resistance, and then we have what? A strong high. So it will take time for this market to break that area. Then we have a retest. Then we continue being bullish. Because of what? Do you see the kind of structure we have? We have a breakout structure. We came for the demand, right? So generally, on a monthly time frame, according to the bigger structure we have, we are bullish, right? On the bullish, the protected low now it is this low. Do you see that red line? Right? To make that screen vertical, I wanted you to see the full screen, right? Okay, let me do it for you. It's not okay. I don't know if you're going to see that. Anyway. Now, this is our protected low on the general structure, on the bigger picture. But all along, this was what? A pullback. For what? For the demand, which caused what? This breakout structure. Right? Okay. So that's it on monthly. Now we need to move to weekly. But before that, let's have a look at what this last month, the candle of last month did, and what we are supposed to be expecting. Remember, for now, let's target this area, the resistance, because we have this area, we have this high over here, our protected high because of this breakout structure, right? Now let's look at this candle over here. Now, what did the candle of July did? The candle of July took out a high like that. Took out the previously weekly high. Then we had a sell. So where were we targeting? The low, right? So we were targeting this low, right? But what else do we have now? What else do we have? Because we can see that the candle of July did not manage to take out what? That low, right? Now, I can see we have a breakout structure here on a higher time frame. And then this market is reacting from this order block, trying to push higher, right? So let's okay, let it be there, but let's have a look at this area. Let's have a look at this area now. Do you see this candle of this month, the August candle? We have this August candle whereby we have already swept that low. We have already swept this low. We have already swept this low. So what does that mean? We might even target what? because look at this candle of July. It swept what? The high of what? The month of June, right? Then it did not manage to do what? To reach what? The low of this candle. But the candle of August swept the candle of July, the low. So what do we need to do? Now, already above here, we have already grabbed what? The liquidity on the higher time frame, monthly. So we mark this candle of July like this, so that we can have the high and the low and the 50% of it, right? Okay. Now, what are we expecting on a monthly time frame? I'm expecting that at least we reach what? In order for us to sell, towards this candle of June, the low of it, at least I'm expecting this market to sell from the premium area, so that we can have a sell towards this area. I'll be targeting this low in case if it's going to give me some reactions and confirmation to do what? To have a sell from this premium area, right? Now we need to go to let me mark first of all the 50% of this candle there. Then if I can remove that and include this candle there. Okay, but don't forget, we have a zone above us, right? Don't forget we have this. Don't forget we have this breakout structure, and then we have this supply zone here, and we have our protected high, right? So now let's go to weekly time frame. Wait on monthly. Told you that on monthly, that is our order block. Then come to monthly. Then on monthly, we're going just to adjust. We refine. We adjust, then we refine. So this is weekly, right? This is weekly time frame. Now, what else do we have on weekly time frame? Let's have a study here. Right. Okay, another thing. Do you remember what I told you about having a valid breakout structure? If we meet with a week, we do what? We expect what? What do you expect?
Buy.
No, that's not the answer. Purity. If we meet something like this, what do you expect from there?
We transfer it to the next until it reaches the body.
Exactly. You do what? You transfer it until you meet the next body, so that you can what? You can have a valid breakout structure. And then what will happen to this candle? The candle that swept that high. Ezekiel. Ezekiel. Okay, Dennis.
I think it has to be swept again.
Exactly. It has to be swept. And then adding more confidence, what do we have here? The weekly,
Liquidity.
I mean the monthly low, where we are supposed to be targeting. So that is what? The liquidity around that area, right? So at least we need to see this market dropping, taking out this candle, the low of this candle, and sweeping this liquidity. Then if it mitigates this area, then we can have that buy going up, right? So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Now, so in order for us to let's have a look at this. Look at this area. I want you to look at this area. Do you see what happened here? I want you to look at what happened here. We did not sweep this high. We just broke above it, right? With a body on a weekly time frame. But remember, on monthly, we have already swept what? A monthly high. Okay. Now, this candle over here, we did what? We only managed to take what? The liquidity above it, right? So the remaining liquidity where the liquidity was not taken out was what? The low. And that is the reason why you can see let me balance this just a moment. And that's the reason why you see we had this sell taking out the low, that liquidity, because we have grabbed the liquidity above that area, and then we've been having this kind of ranging here, right? This market here taking out this low this week, and I mean last week. The last week candle took out this low, and then it closed what? Inside the range. What does that mean? We are forming what? Something like a resistance, and where I mean a support. And where are we reacting from? I told you to turn on that, then you can identify easily where we are reacting from. Do you see that area? Did you see that area? I'm asking.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, it's very visible. So that's the area we reacted from, right? So all along we were coming for this liquidity at this low, right? Okay. Let's continue. Now you can see this is the weekly. This is previously weekly now, right? Now the candle we are supposed to be having. So let's mark the high and the low. Let's mark the high and the low. Let's remove that. So we mark the high and the low like that. But what I can say, we might experience some drop, then we continue being bullish, right? Because all along I'll be targeting this candle over here. I'll be targeting this candle, right? Let's go to daily time frame. Okay, now on daily time frame, what do we have again? We have a weekly high and the weekly low, previously weekly high and the previously weekly low, right? So what else do we need to mark? We need to mark what? The previously day high, which is the candle of Friday, right? So that's the previously day high. Okay, and then we need to mark this as the previously day low. Kindly like that, right? Okay, and also at the extreme, what do we have? Remember, we are coming from this, then I'm going to take this shadow. I'm going to take that shadow there. I'll be looking forward for that shadow. Then what do we have? Let's turn on the line chart. Then we have this at this area, right? And we have this area here, and this is going to be the weekly high there, like that. So we can see that this market has already mitigated this zone. It has already mitigated this zone, but we all know that if we take a daily low, we target what the high. So here at around this area, it will depend. It will depend, right, on how the market are going to open. So if we take out the high, expect either to take the low or market to pull back to the 50% of this daily candle, then we continue being bullish, right? So that's the reason why if we mark the previously daily high and the previously daily low, right, we always mark what the 50%, and always at the 50% is the area where we expect what, some reversals. So let me mark this as the previously daily, I mean the 50%, and then it's going to be color black. And for the weekly, let it be blue, like that. Let it be blue. Okay. Now, this area, we do what? We wait on the daily time frame on how the markets are going to open. But at the 4 hours, it's where we are going to have a stop. So on 4 hours, what do we see here on 4 hours? Remember where we are targeting. We are targeting this zone, right? This zone here, because we have liquidity over this area, right? Now, let's do analysis on this area, on this pullback, so that at least we can see what is happening there. So all along we had what, that breakout structure, and in fact I think this thing is going to happen to be more clear on 1 hour. So let's jump to 1 hour. See this. So we had that breakout structure there, right? And again we had this breakout structure, and then this was the last breakout structure. So that means what? Change of character. And remember, I even told you where we are reacting from, right? On this area. Do you remember that order flow I told you? Was it on weekly or on a monthly? Let's have a look. Was it on weekly or monthly? I told you we are reacting from a certain. We are reacting from a certain order flow. Yeah, it was on a weekly time frame, right? At this area here. So on this area, what do we have? Look at this. Before the mitigation of this zone, right? Before the mitigation of this zone, this was the last breakout structure we had. And then this was our protected low, whereby we had what? A change of character. And then this change of character, we can see that we had what? This order flow over here. But remember, on monthly, this zone over here, this zone, this is our monthly what? Supply, right? But we have this order flow over here. So you can see where we are reacting from. We are reacting from that order flow, right? Now let's go to 1 hour. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. So on 1 hour, we're going to start from that order flow around this area. So I told you this is a change of character, and we have what? The supply zone. And where was the supply zone? Let's have a look at this area. We have this supply zone where the market mitigated that supply zone, and also giving us what? This breakout structure. After that breakout structure, we have the supply zone where the market mitigated. Again, we have what? Breakout structure, then the supply zone around that area. Okay, so here we have the breakout structure, right? Then we can see clearly that this market came for this supply zone, but we have another supply zone here. Just have a look at this area. Look at this area. You see this candle, this bearish candle, which took out, swept this high, but it closed what? Bearish, right? So this is a sweep of liquidity, right? And then if you look at this candle, after sweeping out the liquidity, we have what? This imbalance over here. So this zone, this candle is going to be my supply zone in the near future if market comes back to that area. So what are we waiting for? In case market comes to this area, we expect what? A sell from there. But let's continue with the market structure, this sell, until we find what? A change of character. Now look at this. We have a sweep here. This is not a breakout structure. This is a sweep. What did we say? We transfer this low to this area, right? So that area, if this, we transfer this low to this area, right? To this low, until we have what? A valid breakout structure. But what will happen to the high? We expect this high to be either to be broken, to have a break here, either with a body or to have a sweep, right? So what does that mean? If we mix this with this, it's going to be liquidity, and also this is going to be like a trend line liquidity, so that this zone, we expect a sell from there. We'll have a look at that. Now let's continue. So for this breakout structure, we have what? We have this zone over here, that supply zone, and you can see the supply zone was not mitigated. That area, this market came for this imbalance around this area. We came for that imbalance around that area. Okay, I don't know if these people are really seeing what is going on here. Okay, so we came for that liquidity, that supply zone, that imbalance. So all along this was trend line liquidity. Right now, at this area, do you see this area? We have a breakout structure at around this area. We have this breakout structure around this area. So for those people who are on top, if you are not seeing the chart clearly, you can go to YouTube. The chart is on YouTube. The chart is on YouTube. You can view it there. Right? You can view it there. Let me show you the name of the YouTube channel. Okay, this is the name of the YouTube channel. You can have a visit to that YouTube channel. This is showing on the other side. Show you this area. Just a moment. So we love to come to this YouTube channel. This is where we are live, right? This is where the chat is. Okay. Let's have that. Now, after having this breakout structure, but we all know that the law of it is what? Liquidity from the higher time frame. But look at this area where we had this pause. You see this pause over here? It came from this zone. Sorry, it came from this area. Can have a look at that area, right? So what does that mean? We are pushing back to what? To a certain supply zone. Now let's have a look at this area. We have got this breakout structure, the last breakout structure before the mitigation of this area, right? And we can see we have a change of character all along this area, right? Then this market came, took out the liquidity on the low, swept that liquidity, then we had a buy from that area going up, causing what? Breakout structure, right? So where are we targeting? Do you see that? We are been targeting that area, that liquidity. And then what happened? We had what? That drop from that area, right? So after mitigating that supply zone, we have what? We have that drop from that area. You can either target the low, this low over here, or you target that weekly liquidity which you were expecting to have from higher time frame, either weekly or monthly. So you can see what we left behind. After this breakout structure, we had what? That supply zone which was not mitigated, right? So what made us to say that this market might come to this area, right? And what made us to say that this setup over here, over this area, is what is valid? Because of these reasons, right? When we mitigated, when we had this breakout structure, this was the inducement, right? This was the inducement, and then this was the supply zone, right? Whereby the inducement was taken out, market reacted to this point of interest, right? Having this sell. But look what this happened at around this area. We did not manage to have a body closure below this low. We only swept that area, and then we had this. We had this pullback again, but we did not manage to do what again? To take out this high, right? Then we had a drop, now causing what? A breakout structure for this low, right? So what I told you is this: if you see something like let me delete this. We have a clean chart around that area, right? So I told you that if you see something like this, a sweep of this, expect what? The high to be done what? Also to be taken out, right? Let me show you with this. Let me use this with that tool. Let me use this tool, the curve. I want the curve to show you that we shift to that area, right? So you shift that area. Just pay a visit to YouTube and you'll see those analysis there. I would like to learn and start trading. I will pay, please. Okay. Okay. So after having that break of structure, then we add what? This drop, right? Then we have this liquidity around these highs, right? So that's the reason why we add what? Market pushing back to that supply zone, taking out what? We took out that high which we were targeting, the high which we were targeting, and the market reacted from the supply zone, right? And we had what? That sell, right? Now come here. Let's remove this. So after the mitigation of this zone, what did we have again? This is what we had. We had this break of structure, very nice. We had a very nice break of structure. And again, we had another break of structure, very nice, right? Remember, we have not even mitigated this zone. Now at this area here, right? Look at this area. We mitigate what? The zone. Now what do we have? This is what we have. We have a sweep of liquidity there. We have that sweep. Then what happened to the low? We had what? That break of the body. That's what? A change of character. After the change of character, where do we have the inducement? We have this inducement here, or we can call it liquidity. Depends on how you understand liquidity and inducement. All right. So after having that, where is the zone where we are supposed to be selling from? We have it around that area. So this is when? This is on Monday when we opened. So you could have taken that sell from that area. Stop loss just above that high, just a little bit. Then you target what? You target this low over here. Target that low. You follow what? You follow this. So people on you are haven't started yet. Let's start this game. Let's start this game. Starting a screen is something. It is something free, right? Won't cost you anything. Now, after that, that's how you could have gotten that sell from that area, and you could have even hold it the whole of last week, right? The whole of last week up to that area. So last week you could have even managed to catch how many pips are this? Let's say these are how many? 369. 369 pips, right? Now let's go back to 4 hours just a little bit on 4 hours. Then I show you something. On 4 hours, we're having this. Let me remove all this just a little bit there. Remember, we are on this pullback, right? This pullback. Then we have what? We have a break of structure there. Very nice, right? So all along, we were having this pullback because of this break of structure, the downside, which has what? Which had this supply zone over here, right? So that means this is the break of structure we're having. All these inside here, they were a trap, right? So this is the break of structure we have. And then we have this Breco structure here now. So what does that mean? We are bearish on this pair. Okay, now let's add this. Let's add this. Let's add this. Let me remove those. Just that area. Now, let's add this conference here. Let's add this. I want you to see this. I just want you to see this. Look at this area there. What do we have there? What do we have there? Somebody to answer. What do we have there? Do you know? Ezekiel, do you see what do you
I think a resistance zone.
Resistance.
So Abdi, you are saying
Resistance.
resistance. But you know you are saying
The same.
you are saying
Or supply.
between resistance
I'm seeing resistance.
and
Resistance.
A supply zone.
yeah,
I'm seeing a resistance zone.
resistance. Then oh, Ben, I understand you. You cannot speak. You are somewhere where you cannot speak. Uh, let us, okay, we start here. Support, resistance, pullback. That's a break of baby fever. Break of structure. We are talking about this zone. We were talking about this zone. Key levels, okay, support. Support. Okay. Resistance, breaker block, key levels, resistance to support. Huh? Resistance to support. Okay. Market structure shift. Resistance turns to turn to support. Okay. SBR, breaker block, support, BB, resistance turn to support, vice versa. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It was equation block, key levels, equilibrium. Equilibrium. Okay. Breaker block, resistance. Okay. Resistance. Okay. Okay. Let's start from this area. Let's start from this area. Mhm. Let's start from this area, whereby we had this break of structure you can see here, right? And by the way, let me do this. Can I delete everything? Then we continue with this. Trying to explain here. Okay, let me delete everything, but I'll make sure everything to come back. Okay, I'll bring them back. So all along we are trying to explain what is happening at this area, right? Now, look at this. Look at this from this area. Now let's view this market around this area. We have this area whereby this market created what? What's happening on the floor? Let me see. Just a moment. What's happening? Life will end in 5 minutes. You people. You people, you're not taking this thing right. The life is inactive. The life is inactive. Sorry, I'm able to verify you. Jesus Christ. You people are not right.
Uh,
Okay. Uh, so we have this area whereby we created what? We created this resistance at around this area, right? First of all, let's learn something here. We have two zones here. We have these two zones here. We have another zone here. So when market moves from this lower side, comes to this upper side, then draws back to the lower side like this. Right? So at this area, the upper zone is a resistance, right? We can even call it a rejection area, whereby market, when it's having some buys, they are being pushed what? Down back to the support. Because if you have a look at this area, the lower side is supporting the market to do what? To push higher. Okay, it's a consolidation, no problem. It's a consolidation. Okay, we can even have something like this. I know you all say that this is okay. We have this. You can even have this market whereby you can have that. Right? You can have that. Then you can have this. Right? You can have something like this. This is a support. It pushed this market to go up. Right? But it got rejected here. Sellers came in. But they tried to push this market to go down back to the support. But buyers had what? Buyers had more power. They pushed this market through this resistance. Right? So after we break the resistance, what will happen to the resistance? The resistance will turn back to the support. So this is a what? A break and a retest. Break and a retest, right? So this resistance will turn to the support, whereby it pushed the market again going up. Then we broke another resistance. Then we had a pullback to the support. So support turning to a resistance. Right? Now come here. Come at this scenario here. This is what we have. We have this area. We have this zone here, this zone here. Okay, this zone. Leave alone what happened this area, right? Leave alone what happened to this area. Or let me do this. Let me do this. Let me turn that. Then I bring it there. I bring it to that area. Yes, there. If the price pull back to the support area and rejected, now I will form resistance. Now look at this area. What happened? Okay, let's even start from here. It's a good example. We have another good example here. Look at what happened. We had this resistance here, but we broke above, right? We broke above, then we had what? A pullback back to this area, right? We had this resistance here, right? We broke above, we went above making a high, then we had a pullback back to the what? To the support. All along this was what? A resistance, but we broke above the resistance, and now we have a pullback, right? To the support now. Then we had what? That rally above. Now, this high which was created here, it formed what? Another resistance, right? And you can see what happened there. We're having some kind of rejections, but we broke above, then we pulled back, right? So in order for you to see this clear, let me remove this. Then I put the horizontal at that line. Right? So we broke above that resistance area like this. Then we had this pullback. Right? So this all along, this was the resistance. But we broke above, turning this resistance to a support because it supported the market to push higher and higher, right? So we went above now. After breaking this area, we went above creating this high. We went above creating this high. Or even at this inside here, we're having another resistance there. Because you can see we created a high, then we had a pullback, we broke above, then we did what? We had a pullback back to the zone, then we had that pushed the high, right? Okay, at this area we created what? A resistance there. We created a resistance at that area, right? We created a resistance at that area, right? So we had this pullback coming for to test this support, all right? We came to test this support because you can see it was initially it was what? A resistance, but it was broken here. Then we had a break above, then we had a pullback, right, to that area. Then we were expecting to see these prices pushing higher because whatever is happening on these areas here, it's what we expect for it to do what to happen here. So we expected this market to break this resistance here like this, then we have that, then we continue pushing higher, but that did not happen because this market came to the resistance and then it had a drop breaking the support. Okay, we have broken the support. Now what will this support turn to? This support will turn to this support
A resistance.
exactly, it will turn to a resistance.
Resistance.
Now then we expect what? This market to have a push to the downside, right? Exactly. Yeah. Okay, it will turn to resistance. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can see some people tap tap imechoka. Make the live out. Make the live out here. Okay, now that's it. So what are we expecting now? Since we have that, if we turn on the line chart, we can see what really happened here. And let's use this. Before that, let's use this. We can see this market came for this area. You can see it came for this area, this. So if we turn on like that, so that's where we are. That's where we are. We left 5 months ago because of capital. Okay. So what do you expect from here, guys? Kinadeno, what do you expect from here? Purity, Abdi, Zekiel, what do you expect from here?
Oh,
A bearish.
I expect to sell.
You expect what? A bearish. With what? With confirmation. It does not mean that because we are on the resistance, now you do what? You start selling immediately. No. Look for confirmations. The ones I have taught you, you know the kind of confirmation we look at, right? So you look for the confirmations, then you look for a sell. But if you don't see any confirmation, don't sell, don't buy. Right? Aggressive sell. Sell, 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 reversal. Confirmation. These people are asking about confirmations we look at. Okay. Okay. So this area, remember the last week. This is Monday. Okay. This is Tuesday. Right. Now let's have a look at this area. Let me remove this line. Let me hope you understand that part. We did the top-down analysis from monthly up to 1 hour. Okay. And we had what? We had a confirmation for a sell, a setup for a sell. All right. Then let's look at this. This is the candle of. Let me use this. This is the candle of the other week, the Friday candle. All right, the other week candle, the Friday. So you could have even marked what the Friday high and the Friday low, and you see what happened to the Friday high. We swept the high, and then we had what, a sell on Monday. Right. So what does that mean? We have grabbed what, the liquidity of the Friday candle, the Friday high. So we are targeting the Friday low, but we were bearish. We were bearish, right? Because you can see where we are reacting from, where we reacted from. We are reacted from a supply zone, right? So at this area, this candle on Monday took out the candle of Friday high and the Friday low. Coming to Tuesday, look at the candle of Tuesday. It only managed to do what? Take the liquidity of Monday, and it closed what? Bearish with a body. Right? Now, so what does this try to tell us? For me, I'll be looking forward to take out this candle. Did it manage to, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this candle of Tuesday, the high of it. It not managed to take out the high of this candle of Tuesday of last week, right? And where are we? Where are we? Are we not on that zone? Right? Look at this. This is the candle of Tuesday, right? Let me use this pointer over here. This is the candle of Tuesday, right? We only break below what? The candle of Monday with a body. They closed what? Below that low. Then the candle of Wednesday. This is the candle of Wednesday. The candle of Wednesday did exactly the same thing the candle of Tuesday did to the candle of Monday. We took out the low and we closed what? With the body. Right? Now, look at this area. What happened now? After mitigating this support, this area on this lower side, this is what happened. Look, this is the candle of Wednesday, and this is the candle of Thursday. The candle of Friday took out these lows, right? The low of this candle of Wednesday and the candle of Thursday. And we had what? A buy. Targeting what? We are targeting the candle of Wednesday, the high of it. And we targeted what? We were targeting what? The candle of Tuesday, the high of it. But we did not manage to reach what? The high of Tuesday. All right. So for me, in order for me to have a sell or a buy, I'll want to see this market taking out this liquidity on Tuesday, right? Then mitigate this, either this imbalance on daily time frame around this area, then you can have a fall there. That's what I'm expecting. So what will I do? In order for me to see that area, I will mark this candle of Friday as my previously day high, that, and the low as my previously daily low, right? Like that. Then obvious, I love what? The 50%. The 50% of that previously daily candle, like that. So in case we fail to take out this candle, the high of Friday, then we have a fall. I'm expecting to see some pullbacks from this. If I'm looking for a buy, then I'll be expecting this market to do what? To give me some confirmation from the 50%, from the equilibrium at least. We have that buy. If this market is going to open by not taking out what? The Friday high, then I'll be looking for that to go up. But around the 50% confirmation for buying opportunities, it's a must. You must look for confirmation. Then I'll be looking forward to have a sell either from this imbalance. Closing solid. Okay, no problem. No problem. If you see a buy, no problem. Why Tuesday? Why Tuesday? Because I'll be targeting to target the Tuesday high. I'll be targeting the Tuesday high. The high of Tuesday high. Liquidity, liquidity. You were not here when I was explaining about this sell, what happened to this area, right? I'll be targeting that high to take out either, okay, for that, I'll be expecting to have this, a sell from this zone. If this candle is going to take out this liquidity, then I'll be expecting to have what? A sell from that area. And also, this is my liquidity area, whereby I'm expecting to see the Friday high and this area and the Friday low. It's always liquidity. Yes, you are on the right track. The same analysis in trades. Okay, the area also has yeah, yeah. That is it. And the reason why I'm telling you that at the 50%, look at what is at the 50%. We have this. How do we call this? The Monday's liquidity. So you know. Okay. So this is what I'll be expecting on Monday, which is it? Yeah, Monday. We are about to go to Monday. We are still on Sunday, right? So this is what I'll be expecting to have that for me. A better balance by then. Yeah, that is good. That is good. That is good. So let's not complicate this. Let's not complicate it. Right? Let's not complicate this. Let's not complicate this. Right? And remember what we did here. Remember what we did at around this area. I mean this pullback. We have already done the analysis around this area, and we have already seen how what made this market to do what? To come back to this zone and we add what? That sell. And already I've even told you what is this. So I will follow this structure, right? Because all along, where am I supposed to be expecting this to do what? To give me some reactions. Was it on daily time frame? Was it on daily time frame? Yeah, it was on a daily time frame. I was expecting to have what? That. From that shadow, then because this is my Greco structure, right? Because of that is my Greco structure, right? So I'll be expecting to see this market at least. If it's going to give me those drops from there, then I'll be targeting this zone. But if it decides to go up and continue being bullish, no problem. No problem. You know what you need to do is you do your part and wait for the market to do what? Its part. But you need to follow what the market is trying to do what? To communicate to you. You know, every day I'm trying to tell you that don't chase the market and don't predict what will happen. Just follow whatever the market is doing. Follow what the market is doing. Follow the market, what it is doing, right? So that's 0 USD. Then let's have a look at because it's gold. Let's have a look at 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 gold from monthly time frame. I'm not even going to do this from these lower sides. No, I'm going to concentrate on this area, on the current around that area. So those people who trade gold, let's have a look at this. Now, on gold, this is it. On gold, what else can I see? What can I see? This is what I see. This is what I see. I can see we have this candle that high and the low of this candle. So what does that mean? All these candles here, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 monthly candles are what? Inside the range of this candle of April. We haven't gone the high, or we haven't even approached what? The low. Right? So what do we need to do? Look at what is happening inside here. Now, let's come to this candle of May. Look at what happened to the candle of May. We took out the high. So where are we supposed to be targeting? If we take the high, you target what? The low. But remember the 50%? The 50%. Now let's have a look at what if we manage to reach the 50%. We swept the high, we reached at the 50%. We reached at the 50%, and then we're having these buys. Right? This is the candle now I'm looking at, the third candle. Right? This is the third candle I'm looking at, because this is the candle which swept this high, right? Now I'm expecting to have a drop on the third candle to target what? The low. The low of this candle, right? But look at what happened. It reached at the 50%, and we're having what? This buy. We're having this buy. That's on weekly time frame, right? Okay. Now we are supposed to be targeting this low. Okay. Now let's mark this. Let them be blue. Then we go to weekly time frame. So we swept the high. We are targeting this low. This is the low we are supposed to be targeting, right? Okay, and remember, this is the upper line is what? It's the candle with the range, whereby we haven't even grabbed the liquidity on the high and the low. Now let's look at the weekly candle. Let's even start from there. I don't want to start from these areas. Let's start from this area, right? Let's start from this area. Look at this area. We took out this low, right? When we took out this low, where are we supposed to be targeting? The high, and the high is here. So all along we have been bullish, 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 targeting what? This high. And look exactly what happened to this high. When we grab the liquidity on this high, we had what? This drop. So what does that mean? Above this high, there is a what? A zone which is going to drop this market, right? And on this candle, when it took out the low of this, there was a zone around this area which did what? Gave us that push, right? Now let's go inside the range. You can see, you can even see, you can just look at this. Look at this. Okay, just have a look at this. When we swept this low, we were targeting what? This high. How many weeks did we go for us to do what? To reach this area? After sweeping this area, we had a buy from this area, right? First week, second week, the third week, that's when we took out the high. Immediately after taking out the high, we can see the kind of rejection we're having around that area, right? We'll have a look at this area, don't worry. Mambo ni pole pole, mambo ni life. Mambo ni pole pole. Yes, now let's have an internal inside this candle, the bearish one. You can see we're having the sweep of that high. This market pulled inside the range, but closed what? Bullish. So we swept that high. But what is the trend on this area? We are bullish, targeting what? This liquidity over here. Now again we sweep that high. We closed bearish, but we have our pending liquidity around that high. Okay, right? We have this liquidity pending here, even though we have been sweeping these liquidities here, but we have a pending liquidity over here. So after this candle sweeping this, you can see this candle there swept this high and swept this high. So this is a sweep of liquidity. All this acted as a trend line liquidity around that area. Now let's come to this. What's here? What do we have now after taking out this liquidity? Because you can have a look at this area. We have already taken out these liquidities around that area, right? Let's look at this area. You can see this candle taking out what? This high. Okay, and we had this sell down to this area. So what did we took out around this area? We took out the low of this. You see where this comes from? It's because this candle took out the high of this, right? This candle took out the high of this. So we are targeting the low, even though we have taken out this liquidity on this candle. So this candle here last week, we had this sell taking out this liquidity, and this market reacting from a certain zone here on a lower time frame, then We are that buy. We are that buy. Okay. Now let's go to daily time frame. Let's go to daily time frame. So we're having this liquidity here. Let me come back to weekly so that I just want to remove. There are certain things I want to remove. I want to remove this zone because we are not interested there, and then I'm not interested on this. I'm not interested on that. So the only thing, and also I'm not interested on that. So the only thing I'm interested are these areas. I'm even also not interested on that. Yeah. But I'm interested on this high. I'm interested on that high there. Okay. I'm interested on those areas. Now let's go to daily time frame. Then I show you something very, very, very sweet, something very good. Let's start on last week on Monday. What happened on Monday? Now let's look at the candle of Monday. This is the candle of Monday. We had this opening of Monday here, whereby we took what? Let me use the pointer. This is the candle of Monday. We took out the Friday low. Do you see that? Let me mark the Friday. This is the candle of Friday. The Friday low, and then this is the Friday high, right? We took out the Friday low with a body. Then this is the candle of Tuesday, whereby the candle of Tuesday did not manage. You can have a look. The candle of Tuesday did not manage to take out either the Monday low or the Monday high, right? Now, coming to the candle of Wednesday, the candle of Wednesday did not manage to take out the high of Tuesday and the high of Monday, but it took out the lows of Monday and the low of Tuesday. And we had that sell, mitigating what? This zone on the lower time frame, taking out. You see this liquidity here, which I told you, but I'm interested there. This liquidity, taking out this liquidity, right? Then this is the candle of Wednesday. All this happened on Wednesday. And then this is the candle of Thursday. We had a buy. So this candle of Thursday, this is the candle of Thursday. So the candle of Thursday did not manage to do what? To take out the candle of Wednesday low. So it opened around that area and closed where? Around this area, right? So what did it do? It only mitigated what? This order block at around this area, right? And then it gave us that sell. But coming on Monday, I mean on Friday now, on Friday, right? Coming on Friday, this is what happened on Friday. Remember, since Monday, we haven't taken any high. We haven't taken any high. We have what? The Friday high, and we have a Monday high, we have a Tuesday high, we have a Wednesday high. And also we have what? The Thursday high. Remember that, right? So we have this high, we have this high. Let me even mark. Let me mark with what tool am I going to use? Let me use this pointer highlighter. So all along this was the liquidity. Let me mark it to be red. So that is liquidity there. So we have liquidity there, liquidity on Monday. Okay. And this is the candle of Friday. We haven't even taken out what? The Friday high. We haven't taken out the Friday high. But we have managed to do what? To grab all these highs. Because you can look at the low, they were taken out. But this is the Friday high. Now, the last week, we have what? What do we have? Again, let me remove that. What do we have now? We have again the Friday high, and we have the Friday, the Friday low, and we have the Friday high. We haven't taken out the other week what? Friday high. Again, we have this candle of Friday, last week Friday. So for me, I'll be expecting all these highs to be taken out, right? Then what do we have? I have this imbalance there. Then I have this candle here. Right? So because gold likes to behave like a pregnant woman, then it's either it reacts there, give me that sell, or it reacts there, give me that sell, so that I can go buy on long, because we are bullish. I'll follow what the higher time frame is communicating to me. We are bullish, but it will depend on how the market will be moving throughout the week. Gap from 33.63. Okay. 33.35. Okay, we'll have a look at that. Just have a look at that. No problem. It's a good zone. So this is what I'll be expecting. This is what I'll be expecting on daily time frame. Either we took out the Friday high or Friday low. Because you can have a look at what happened here. Starting of this week, we took out the Friday low and we had a bearish, right? But here we have a Friday high and we have a Friday low. So I'm expecting, if we take out the Friday high, then we might have that continuation, or we have a drop, but that will only come when we have this. Remember, 50%, it's a must. So if we don't take out the Friday high, then if we pull back to the 50%, I'll be expecting to go bullish with confirmation on the 50% here at the discount area, right? At the discount area. Okay, let me hope I'm speaking sense to somebody. Let me hope I'm speaking sense to somebody. Okay. Okay, good sense. No, okay. Lower tag, okay. Lower time frame, clear. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, good. Good. That's good. So make sure to mark the 50%. That's something very crucial. Make sure to mark the 50%. Now, I want us to see what is the reason why this market pulled from this area coming to this low, because you've seen clearly what happened. You've seen what the reason why this market did what, had to pull back to this lower side on weekly time frame, because of we having this liquidity here. We were coming for this liquidity. And if I go to 4 hours, then let me open your eyes. Let me open your eyes, guys. Now on 4 hours, allow me to remove everything. But I'll mark, remember, but I will remain with this liquidity here, and I will remain with this. Do you remember that high on weekly time frame where I was telling you? Or let me do this. Let's come back to weekly time frame. Let me come to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, I want to mark, allow me to mark this low like that, right? Then, okay. Let me remove this from this low. Then I mark this liquidity over here, because I told you when you take out the high, you target what? The low, right? So we have the high. You can see what happened to the high. We took out that high, right? So because here we have taken out that liquidity, I'm not going to explain anything around this area. This is the high we were targeting, because all along this was the candle with the range, right? So I love this. So what I'm trying to tell you, I'm going to explain on 4 hours. I'm going to show you where we reacted from and where we reacted from these two zones on the 4 hours. Then on 4 hours, I go straight to the point. But before going to the point, let me have this. I'm going to start from this area. Okay, I'm going to start from this area. How much for class and signals? Too bad. I don't offer signals, and I don't offer any kind of signals. Actually, I don't offer signals. I only offer classes, mentorship only. It's good. I teach you on how you can trade by your own. Because till when will you be depending on me to give you setups, to give you signals? At least on the group of mentorship, you can get some setups, right? Okay, so we have a break of structure. Let's continue. We have a break of structure, and we have what? This protected low over here, right? And then we can see this market reacting from this order flow. I mean this order block here, that area, right? It reacted from that area. Okay, now look at this area. Look at this. Look at this. Let's have a look at this. Let me zoom this area. We have this break of structure here. Somebody's okay. I know this is not a valid break of structure, because after the break of structure, the first pullback is supposed to be an inducement, right? So that's a break of structure for the early buyers. Then we have this break of structure. I mean break of structure, no change of character. Then we have this area here. We have this area here. You see this? We meet with the wicks. What did I tell you? If we meet with the wicks, you transfer this low to this area. Then from there, if you meet another wick also, you transfer it again. So you transfer that low from that area to this area. So if we meet with the body, then that's a change of character. But what do you expect? This low created this high, and then this high came back. Okay, let's look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We have a sweep here. Okay, so we swept, we created the high, and then we came back, we had a break. So what do you expect? All this to be taken out. And where did the market react from? Reacted from this bullish candle over here, acting as the supply zone for the change of character, right? Now we have a change of character there, right? Market reacting from that supply zone, dropping. We have what? A break of structure. Where is our protected high? This is our swing high, right? This is our swing high. So we have this break of structure and we have this break of structure and we have this break of structure. This market came to reacted from this order block here. Then we had that buy. So on this buy, we were targeting what? This supply zone. Because this is the supply zone, we can see which has those qualities of a good supply zone to at least to push this market to go lower. But what happened? What happened? Just look at this. On our protected high, what is that? On our protected high, what is that? On our protected high, what is that? Is that a change of character or is that sweep of liquidity? Broke previous high. Okay. Sweep. Sweep, protected high, sweep. Okay. Let me get Abdi. What is that?
Sweep.
A sweep.
Sweep.
Purity was that?
A sweep.
Ezekiel.
Hey, it's a sweep.
Exactly, that's a sweep. Somebody is saying that sweet potato equal high liquidity grab. Okay, external liquidity. Exactly, that is it. But this guy who said sweet potato, no problem. That's a sweet of potato. So we had a sweep of that high, right? We have a sweep of that high. So this is a sweep of liquidity, external liquidity, right? Now, if we have swept that high, then what do we expect to happen with this low? Because remember, we have this break of structure and this is the high which created this break of structure. So what will happen to this low? It's a question to you. It's a question to you guys. Purity. It's a question to you.
The last to be swept also.
Have to be swept. But remember this. This is the last break of structure we having to the upside. This area. This is the last break of structure we're having to the upside because we are trying to be bullish to target what high? We are bullish targeting this high, right? Because just have a look what is happening. So how is this market moving? We are moving like this. We are moving like this to that area. Then we expect to come here, then we continue. But according to the internal structure now, according to this internal structure, according to the internal structure, this is what we have. Because remember, this is our protected low, right? So, and you can see this market is reacting from this area. We might even come to the extreme level. We might come to the extreme level. Keep in mind, we might come to the extreme level. But you can see this market reacting from this area, right? Now, we have this break of structure. So in order for us to confirm that we are really bullish, we could have had a break here, a body here with this area. But we only did what? We had that sweep, right? We had that sweep this area. Is this not the area you told me that we had a sweep? This is not a change of character. This is a sweep because we do not have a body closure above this high, right? We only took that high Then what did we do? We had a drop, right? Now look at this. We have this break of structure and we have our protected high. So we have taken out what? The external liquidity. Remember, the external liquidity is this. We're having this as like the external structure, this. So we are supposed to be there, then we drop, right? Like that. But we have what? These internal structures like this, which give us what? Which will be giving us internal liquidities like that. So let's look at the internal structures. Okay, so after the mitigation of this area, after the mitigation of that, we have, this was the last break of structure we had. And then this was the protected high. We had that change of character. Then this market came to this fair value gap. It reacted from that imbalance. And you can see that clearly. We had this change of character here, and we had this, the first pullback. Then the first pullback was taken out, and we had what? That area. We had a break of structure around that area. And then we created the first pullback. Then we had that early buyers were being introduced there. Then we had to take out this area. Then we continue, right? So we have this as the break of structure. Again, we have this as the break of structure. Okay, so all along this was the area this market rejected as the demand for this break of structure. Now, what do we have here now? So this is our protected low. This is our protected low. What happened to the protected low? Look at what happened. That's what? Change of character to the downside. And where is the supply zone? Look at the supply zone at the extreme level. Because if at the immediately of this, look at this, immediately on this, after this, I mean this change of character here, right? There is a zone we mitigated. Look at this area. Do you see this break of structure here? Okay. Remember this market, this area reacted from this imbalance, but we had this, sorry, I want to use that. I want to use this. We had that candle there. You can have a look what happened to that area. Market reacted from there, trying to push higher. So after mitigating this zone, right, we have this as the external change of character, right, for the sell. But in order for us to go for this supply zone up here, you all know the qualities of a good supply. It must sweep liquidity, those blah blah blah, FVG, all those. Now look at this. Look at this. We have this as the last break of structure, right? Then we had this as the change of character, and then we having this zone here as the demand, right? As the demand. But what happened? We created this first pullback, which gave us what? The inducement. But what did the market do? This market came for this demand or around this area, and we had that buy. Do you see that? But where are we targeting? Remember, don't lose focus on this. You're supposed to be keeping in mind we have this change of character. And where is the supply? This is the supply which caused what? That change of character. Let me hope nobody is lost. Ezekiel, are we together? Abdi, are we together? Nobody is lost.
No, we are together.
Okay. Now, do you remember the line I told you? This liquidity here on weekly time frame. Now, do you see applying that rule on how to spot liquidity. This is the liquidity I was talking about, right? This is the liquidity I was talking about on weekly time frame, right? So this is the liquidity I was talking on weekly time frame. Which time frame? I was talking about it on weekly time frame. Let me go back to weekly. Let me go back to weekly so that I can show you. This is the liquidity I was talking about, because you can see what happened here. When we took out this low like this, we swept the liquidity on this bearish candle. So where are we supposed to be targeting? The high, right? Supposed to be targeting the high, right? We took out the low, we target the high. And this is what exactly on 4 hours happened. This is what happened. So adding all that, you can come here. We have this liquidity here, right? And we have this break of structure, and we have the change of character. And you can see this market what mitigated this demand zone. You could have taken your buy from that demand, stop loss below that. You target that liquidity, right? You target that liquidity to be taken out. But because you're having this change of character over here, and you have that supply, you target that supply. You target that supply. You target that supply zone. And what happened? This is what happened. And that is what happened, right? We have this internal break of structure, internal change of character, and then we have what? A weekly liquidity, right? You target this liquidity, okay? And you have that supply, all right? Okay? Now, you have that buy. Now, come here. You have this change of character. So let's remove this. We have done with this internal. We remain with the external only. We have already managed to grab that liquidity. So we remove that area, right? So you have this change of character. You have this change of character, and you have your supply zone. And when you mitigate your supply zone, you look for a sell. And you sell from the supply zone. Stop loss there. Where do you target? Let's say let's even say that you enter that, buy from that. You remember this liquidity I was telling you on a weekly time frame? Let's go back to weekly. Current. Let's even make it. I want it to be on below. Let's go to weekly. Let's go to weekly. Let's go to weekly. Let's go to weekly. On this area, this is the liquidity I was talking about. This is the liquidity I'm talking about, right? This candle. The reason why I'm telling you is this, because of this. Do you see the high? What happened to the high? We swept the high. So you target what? The low, right? The reason why we cannot target this candle, it's because this candle already took out the liquidity of this bearish candle. And this candle, you can see what happened to the high. This candle took out the high of this. So you target the low, right? Now let's go back to 4 hours. Let's go back to 4 hours. Let's go back to 4 hours. On 4 hours, I've told you, go in for the sell from that area. Then you do what? You target what? That liquidity, right? You target that liquidity. But remember this, on the external, on the internal, you had a break of structure here and you had a change of character, right? And there was this pending demand zone here, this demand zone here. Let me make it a forward demand. Why is it not? Oh, okay. So this is a demand zone. We target this demand zone, right? So you could have targeted that demand zone. You have that demand and you have that weekly liquidity, weekly low there. And they look exactly what happened. If you could have targeted that area, you could have taken your take profit. Then look at this. Look at this now. After mitigating this demand zone, because we had the internal change of character. Yo, hidden gem, nyaje. So after mitigating this demand zone for this internal change of character and this internal break of structure, we having what? This buy. From there, you could have even targeted what? This, you could have even targeted the 4-hour imbalance at around that high. But you can see we're having some supply zone on 4 hours at around that area. Because we're kind of having what? These tiny break of structures on what? On this lower time frame, you have that break of structure over there. Fresh mzee, niambie bwana, siku mingi bwana. So you have that internal break of structure, and then you have this what? Internal what? Supply zone. You have that supply zone for this break of structure. So you could even target that high, right? You could have even targeted this zone over here. That's how you could have managed to catch what? That buy on gold, right? Now remember, this is on 4 hours. It's up to you. If you can open a position on 4 hours, you can do it, right? You can have a swing trading. But if you could have even gone to 1 hour, you could have gone what? To refine these zones. The only thing you could have done is to refine these zones. So you could have even refined this zone, that area, okay, that area. Then you could have refined this zone to that candle there. And then this could be your entry from that area. And, let's refine this. Let's refine this supply zone. Let's refine this supply zone. Let's take that bullish candle there. We could have taken that candle there. And now stop loss, you adjust it around certain area there. That is it, and that's how you could have managed to catch those beautiful buys and sells, right? Please do today's setup. So even if I don't do today's setup, please let me hope somebody has learned something. So Purity, let me hope today you have learned something, right? Let me hope Ezekiel today you've learned something. Abdi, let me hope you've learned something like that, right? Right, all right. So for today, what I'm expecting to see is this. I'll mark the Friday high and the Friday low. That, but I have this candle of Friday high over here, and then I kind of have what? A zone here. I kind of have a fair value gap there, right? Then I have this candle here, this bullish candle over here. So for me, I'll expect either, if this market is going to, we are going to bullish, if we are really bullish, right? Remember where we are supposed to be targeting this high. If we are bullish, we are targeting this high, right? Now, if we are bullish, then We might expect this market immediately to open to around the 50%. We continue being bullish, right? Like that. But if we're going to have a drop, then we might take out the Friday high and the other week on the 25th week Friday high, July high, this high. We mitigate this imbalance around this area, that is FVG, then we have a sell. But I'll expect at around the 50% to give us some reactions. Either we continue being bullish or we target towards the low. So at the 50%, you know what to do. I will not repeat that. Again, I have this at the 50%. I have that on the 50%. I have that zone on the 50%. Right? I have that on the 50%. So I'll be monitoring these zones. So it's either we come here, we continue being bullish, or we take out the Friday high and this liquidity over here, then we mitigate either this imbalance, come to this zone, and we continue being bullish. So keeping an eye on these zones on daily time frame, but on 4 hours, on 4 hours, do this. Now come to 4 hours. The last 4 hour candle is here. Just mark this candle with that, the 50% on that. If we go up, expect to have a drop. If we go down, expect to have a bullish, right? But using whatever we have here, for me, I see this thing where we might have a drop. We might have a drop because of this. I have this breakout structure here. We might have a drop. We might even be targeting the extreme. This extreme, this extreme demand zone here for this bullish, for this breakout structure over here, right? We might even see this market dropping, but we can see what kind of a reaction we have at around that area, because on daily time frame, I say this thing it might drop. But let's wait until the market opens. We follow what the market will do for us, either on Monday, but I think on Tuesday we might have a clear direction. But for me, I'll be following this. Because of this change of character, might expect a draw. Because all along, from this change of character, we've been targeting this supply to have what? This sell. Right? What makes you to say it will drop? I've already said it. Right? So we might have this, but you know, gold is, I told you gold behaves like a pregnant woman. So we wait until we see what kind of reaction. So if you could have done whatever I've done here, okay. So this is how you could have even managed to get this. How many pips are this? So from that drop, you could have even managed to catch those pips. Then where's it tool? I don't like that tool that much. Where's this tool? It will not drop. Okay. Support your answer. Support your answer, Mr. Freedom. It will not drop. And what is the reason? What is the reason you are saying it will not drop? And let me hope you are a market mover. And also, if you comment and if you support your answer if you are a market mover. If you are a brother or a sister or a fundamental says it won't drop. Okay. I don't follow anything like fundamentals for me. I just follow my technical. My technical analysis is what I do follow. Trump just introduced new taxes. Okay. If Trump introduced new taxes, then this is EURUSD. It did not open with a gap. Anyway, I'm not a guy of fundamentals. I just follow my technical. And the dollar is also bullish. It will drop first before buying. Okay. So this is what for me I'll be doing. I'll be waiting for any reaction which I'll see, then I'll go for it. I'll go for it. For me, I just trust my technical analysis and my fundamentals. A bit of correction true, but extremes tricky. Okay, no problem. No problem. You know, you people, you like commenting like that. Let me hope you might even be a relative to Jerome Powell. Do you do live trading during the day? It will depend. If I'm free, if I feel like, it will depend with the feelings I have. Who is this? Is this Paulo Lado, Kev, and I think Kev and Freedom. Let me hope you are the relatives to Jerome Powell or Trump, right? You are the brother who the market do what they want at the end of the day. I've even told you, don't chase the market, just react to what the market is presenting to you, right? You know what you all need to know? It's how these candles are communicating to each other, right? There is a communication between this candle, the bullish one and the bearish one. There is something they are trying to communicate to each other. And you've already seen how we did on what? On weekly time frame, right? Do you see how we did that? If we take out the low, we target what? The high. If we take out the high, we target the low. So there is a communication between the bullish and the bearish, right? So if you do understand how, if you're going to look for ways on how you can understand how these candles they communicate to each other, at least you might be in a safer side, right? So for me, that's how I do my analysis. And okay, so Ezekiel,
Yeah,
can we call it a night, bro?
yeah, we can.
Yeah. So like, Abdi, can we call it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's meet tomorrow.
Okay.
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 Okay. Have a blessed night.
Yeah.
So
Sure. So what are you saying my people on TikTok? Let's have a communication. Mlikuwa mnasema aje sasa? Sasa ropokeni yenu yote sasa. Ropoka sasa tusikie.